Hi everyone, good evening and welcome. We are back. It's our week 22 of Dream Whisky's Facebook Live broadcast. Good to see you. It's 7 p.m. here in the UK and hopefully you're all going to be joining us this evening. So sorry we weren't here last week, just some life stuff happened and we just weren't able to broadcast, but we're back and we've got a big show up for you this evening. So let me run through what we've got lined up. We've got our ever popular Whiskey Geek of the Week happening this evening, and just to be clear, for the first time, our previous winner has set the questions. I certainly set most of the questions. A couple I had to tweak, but really they've come from our previous winner, that's Kaz Bridges. So she was the person who won it 2 weeks ago when we did that, and she set our questions. This is a new thing that we're doing. So that's our Whiskey Geek of the Week. We've got 3 cocktails, as ever, up for grabs for you, including our Mix With Me cocktail, which I'm just going to give you a rundown of what you need if you're going to do our Mix With Me cocktail. We've obviously got to tell you who our competition's winners are, and we got double competition winners because we weren't here last week, so I'll tell you who all of those winners are. Plus, we've got all sorts of other bits and pieces on the go as well. But as ever, we like to start with a little drink and a toast, and that's exactly what we're going to do. So this week, I've got this Ben Ria 10-year-old Curiositas on the go. So generally, we tend to think of these whiskies as kind of, sort of typically Speyside in character, but these ones, or this one, is a peated malt. Really, really good. So I'm just going to read you what it says on the label. It's smoked with Highland peat, then 3 casks matured in bourbon, toasted virgin oak and rum barrels as well. So cracking whiskey, going to get this on the go. Remember, tell me what you're drinking. Tell me what you're drinking along with me. Let's just pop that in the glass. Pop that to the side there. Let's see who is with us. Kieran, good to see you. Paul, great to see you as well. Michael Nolan, how are you doing? We all know, I think everyone now knows that already Richard is actually Michael. So how are you doing as well? Jeff, great to see you. Steve, Gary, Kaz setting our questions for Whiskey Geek of the Week tonight. Barry, great to see you there. Mark, Alan Ireland, how you doing? Bob, Carl is there and Mark as well, drinking Iron Brew at work once again. Oh, I got to stop that. Someone said, what's that, Bob? Happy Canada Day. Is it Happy Canada Day? It's not easy to say actually, but Happy Canada Day. Good to see you. What else we got on the go there? Flying up there, drinking tea. Adrian's drinking tea, one too many last night. David Rose got a Whiskey Baron on the go. Cat Jam, about to get myself a Glenfiddich. And another hello from Canada on Canada Day. So, sorry, didn't realise it was Canada Day, but cheers to Canada on Canada Day. Good to see you all. All right. Now, before we get cracking this evening, got a little bit of an announcement to make. So, if you are a member, I've been telling all the members that part of your membership after 3 months is that you get access to our online whiskey course. Well, our online whiskey course is up now. And if you are a member, you can go onto one of the member pages on our website. It says Whiskey Cocktail Course, and you can click on there and you can enroll for free. So all members get free enrollment on that. It's a £60 course and you get free enrollment. If you're a member, you can get free enrollment on that. If you're not a member, why not? Because £60 course it costs less than your whole year's worth of membership anyway, so you should be getting in and becoming a member, but you can get on there. But the other thing is this, is that we are also inviting people to apply to be affiliates. In other words, if you have any kind of connection with friends, or you write a blog, or you've got a decent social media group, or whatever it happens to be, you can become an affiliate. If you recommend someone to our course and they sign up, we will split the money with you. So that means that a £60 course, for one friend of yours that signs up, we will give you £30. And you can sign up on our site as well to apply to become an affiliate. Get over to the site. I put the link in the description. And put yourself in, and then if everything's accepted, we'll send you some forms to make that all official. But anyway, check it out one way or another. And actually, by the way, you can become an affiliate whether you are a member or not, but you can't sign up to the course for free unless you are a member. Who else is here? Matt, good to see you again too. Drinking Irish single malt whiskey. Yeah, loving that. Unnamed because it was a gift. All right, cool. I like that. Rob's on a diet. Does that mean you're not drinking? That's just not the right time to be on a diet, Rob. Carl, you got a Down. Of course, you got the old Dalmore 18. I love that whiskey, really do. More Happy Canada Days going on, and a small Royal Lochnagar. Good. All right. So, shall we start by announcing some of the winners? So, I've got two winners of the whiskey competition. I've got for week 20, which would have been 2 weeks ago, or last week rather, and I've got week 21, which ended last night, and then I've got two winners of our spot prize as well. Steve, is it free to be an affiliate? Yeah, you don't have to pay to be an affiliate, Steve. You just sort of sign up. We send you all the stuff, but all you got to do is recommend the course. If one of your recommendations actually signs up, it's all trackable and everything, and we will give you half the fee for them signing up. But yeah, you don't have to pay to be an affiliate for sure. What else have we got here? Yeah, so here we go. The winners. The winner for last week's whiskey competition, cool name by the way, is Jeremiah Johnson. I'm pretty sure I've not seen Jeremiah tune in on Wednesday nights because I would remember that name. But one of our members, so Jeremiah Johnson, congratulations. I'll be in touch with you. If you do watch this on record, maybe sometimes I'll be in touch with you. And then yesterday's winner for last week's whiskey competition is Andy Wynn. So congratulations, Andy Wynn. And I do see Andy on here, although I don't think I've seen him this evening. So congratulations to both of you guys, and I will be in touch with both of you. And then the spot prize giveaway. So the little spot prize giveaway, just to remind you what we were giving away. And because I sort of put it on hold for a week, then both winners of last week and the week before are going to get the same prize. So it was this 10-piece cocktail kit, Boston shaker, spoon, strainer, jigger, pourers. Pretty cool kit, actually. Let me scroll back, remind myself who the winners are. One of them I have already seen here. A few people scrolling up and down tonight. Just quickly say hi, Paul Musson. Good to see you. Having a JD tonight. Also having trouble with Virgin Internet connection. If you drop out, drop back in. Barry's not drinking. What's wrong with you all? Jeremiah Johnson is a Robert Redford movie. Is that right? Is that right? Congrats, Jeremiah Johnson. And Andy, says Gary. Congrats, winners, says Barry. Fantastic. I wonder if that is why he was named Jeremiah Johnson. Jeremiah, if you are on, let us know whether you were named after the movie. Cocktail kits go to two people. So last week's winner is Laura Cushley. Laura, I think I've seen you on there sometimes. I don't know if you're there. Say hi if you are. So congratulations, you are getting a cocktail kit. And the other one is Kieran Satterley. Kieran, I've definitely seen you there. Congratulations. There's going to be a cocktail kit on the way to you. All our winners I will be sending emails to officially tomorrow. So just wait for that, and then we'll get all your prizes sorted out. So good job. Well done. Now, in a minute, we're going to go into the first of our three cocktails this evening. Before we do that, we're going to start our Whiskey Geek of the Week quiz as well. And just to remind you, if you are doing the mix with me this evening, this is what you need. You need some whiskey, obviously, and then you need some triple sec. Triple sec is the branded triple sec that you will all know is Cointreau, but triple sec, so something like that, a Curacao. You can use Grand Marnier or triple sec or orange Curacao, but I'm using triple sec. You'll need some passion fruit, actually one or two. You'll need a lime, and you also need some syrup. I'm going to be using vanilla syrup, but you can use, you can mix it up how you want. You can put in regular syrup and then maybe add a dash of vanilla essence. You can use passion liqueur, whatever you want to do. Loads of well dones flying through on the messages here. Nice one, Laura and Kieran. Congrats to all four winners, says Paul. I've actually noticed for the first time, normally my comments don't scroll automatically, so I scroll through them, but they're all jumping up on their own tonight. So if I miss anything that you say, forgive me, but I'll try and respond to you all as I normally do. Okay. Whiskey Geek of the Week. You know how it works. I give you three questions between each section of our broadcast, and you've got to answer them. Tonight's questions are courtesy of our three-time geek winner, Kaz Bridges. Kaz, I'm pretty sure I saw you on there already this evening. So thank you very much to Kaz. We sort of put this up as an idea a few weeks ago, didn't we? suggesting, I think it came from Michael actually, Michael Nolan, but why don't the winners of the Whiskey Geek do the questions the next week? So we are going to do that if you want to do it. In other words, if you win the Whiskey Geek and you want to do the questions next week, great. If you don't want to do them, that's absolutely fine. I know Michael is lined up to put in some questions himself anyway. But Kaz has done them tonight. You will need a pen and paper so you can write down the answers, and then by the end you mark your own, and we find out if you are our Whiskey Geek of the Week. First three questions, Kaz has picked up the baton really, and she's running with it the same as we've done before. So she's done three, what have you done? What are they called? I've just, my brain has just gone, they're anagrams, that's the word that I'm looking for. Three, and oh, Laura, you're there, and Kieran's there as well. Good job, great to see you both on, and congratulations to you both. So here we go, get your pen and paper ready. Questions 1, 2 and 3, they're all anagrams. They are anagrams of whiskies or whiskey distilleries, whichever way you would like to do it. I give you the words, you've got to unmuddle the letters to try and work out what they are. Remember, don't put your answers in the comments box. Write them down because you don't want to give it away to anybody else. That's only if you've not done this before. Here we go. Question number 1. So, anagram of which whiskey or whiskey distillery? I want you to take the words brink pangs. Brink pangs. So that's B-R-I-N-K. Brink and then pangs, as in desires, I guess. P-A-N-G-S. Brink pangs. That's question number 1. Which whiskey distillery is that? Cheers again, by the way. Question number 2 is Dower Reed. Dower Reed. So we are looking for D-O-U-R, Dower, and then Reed, as in reading a book, R-E-A-D. Dower Reed. That is an anagram of which whiskey? Stroke whiskey distillery. And question 3. Question 3 is a 3-word. I like this one. This is a 3-word anagram, and it is chalice air gel. Air gel. Okay, so let me spell that for you. Chalice, like glass, cup, something like that. C-H-A-L-I-C-E. And then air gel, but not hair gel, right? Air gel. So A-I-R-G-E-L. And that is also an anagram of which whiskey or whiskey distillery. Okay, so those are your Whiskey Geek of the Week. Questions numbers 1, 2, and 3. And now we are going to move into our first cocktail of this evening. Actually, you know what? It's our second cocktail of this evening. I've switched 1 and 2 around because Cheryl, who you know likes to steal stuff, didn't like the look of the first one, so I had to switch them around so she can steal the second one first, if you see what I mean. But this one is called a Banana Rama, and it's quite a delicious cocktail actually. Really smooth, quite fruity, got some cream in there as well, and I'm going to be putting it into one of my favourite, you know this glass obviously, those of you that watch on a regular basis, one of my favourite sort of retro 20s style coupette glasses. So let's just pop that to the side. I'm going to start by getting our cocktail shaker, and as with all of our cocktails, we start with the whiskey. And actually this isn't a particularly strong cocktail, so I'm going to be putting in 25 ml of our whiskey. So let's get that to there. And in we go to the glass. Now, next thing that I want to put in is some banana liqueur. I've got to make sure I don't pick up the wrong one because they're similar colours to the others. So this is a Creme de banane liqueur, really deep, rich aroma and flavour. Oh, there she is, just popped up. My wonderful wife, Cheryl. Hi everyone, who needs a drink? Well, it looks like you need a drink because you asked me to make this one first. So this is banana liqueur. Banana liqueur, strangely enough, goes brilliantly with whiskey in cocktails. It just blends perfectly. And I'm putting a 25 ml shot of our Creme de banana liqueur in there as well. There we go. All right, so we've got now our whiskey and the banana liqueur. Now I'm going to add some juice. And the juice is a sort of tropical mix. So if you just go and buy yourself a carton of tropical juice, you know, it could be a mix of all sorts of things. But in my one, there's a bit of passion, there's a bit of mango, there's some orange, a bit of pineapple. And they all tend to be quite similar in character. And this one is no different, really. And I'm putting in, let me just shake that out. I'm putting in 35 ml of our tropical juice. So here we go, that's good. That's looking good there. Now I'm going to add some syrup, and the syrup that goes in this needs to add a little bit of spice. And I've used this in a cocktail, I think a couple of weeks back, when I made a gingerbread sazerac, and this is a gingerbread syrup, and I've just sort of fallen in love with it. So I thought I would use it again, and I'm just going to do this by eye. And I'm popping in 10 ml of our gingerbread syrup. So there we go, it's about 10 ml. That might be 11 ml, I'm not entirely sure because I didn't measure it, but pretty close, I think. And then the last thing that I want to put into this drink is some cream. And we're not going to go sparing on the cream. I'm going up to 40 ml on the cream here. And cream is really important for really the character and the mouthfeel. This is a sort of smooth, silky cocktail. So let's take my shaker. I'm going to pop in some ice. So let's get a good scoop of ice in there. Actually, I'll put a little bit more in. Pour this all in over the ice and give it a good shake. Here we go. All right, good. So we've shaken that up. Let's open our shaker. And then I'm just going to strain this straight into our coupette. So here we go. And smells great, looks amazing, really sort of silky, delicious cocktail. This is our banana rama. Now, ordinarily, what I would do is I would take some slices of banana and I would actually sort of float those slices of banana on the surface of the drink. So I think you've seen me do it before, but I quite like to do it with banana. If you cut banana slices really, really fine, then you can actually just lay them on the surface of the drink. But I'll be honest with you, I went to the fridge to get some bananas and we don't have any. So I'm not garnishing this, but if you're going to make it, then that's what you want on the surface. And there we go, our banana rama. Should I just have a taste before somebody gets it? Oh, what's that? Don't forget the cherry. So, orders now coming in from Mrs. Mixer, somewhere else in the building. Don't forget the cherry, okay. Well, let's put a cherry. I wouldn't ordinarily put a cherry on this, by the way, as you obviously realise, but there we go. Just drop that in for the boss. There we go. All right, so I might just have a quick taste of this before it disappears somewhere. It's actually gorgeous. It's completely gorgeous. The gingerbread syrup, funnily enough, with the banana is almost like a marriage made in heaven. Goes down really, really well. Getting very nervous now because normally my wife comes out of nowhere, there we go, and steals this drink. She's actually sent someone else who is known to clatter into everything. I expected the camera to go there and the lights, but it didn't happen. The fact that the drink has gone is honestly, that's a positive that we didn't end the broadcast there. So good job for everyone. I'm feeling good about that. Good. So that was our banana rama, which was actually our drink number 2, which went into drink number 1 spot. And drink number 1 coming up in a second. We got a few more questions on the front in terms of our Whiskey Geek of the Week competition. Okay, so the comments are stopped. So you guys stopped talking to me. What else are you drinking? Anybody, by the way, just give me advance warning. Are you doing the whiskey, the Mix With Me cocktail this evening? Just let me know in the comments. And while you're at it, let me know anything else that comes to mind in terms of cocktails or what you're drinking, or actually what you have been inspired to do. Kaz is saying that sounds delicious. I've got to tell you, it is a delicious cocktail. It's absolutely gorgeous. I just keep feeling like I want to... Let me show you this stuff. So I don't know whether any of you got it. It's unlikely you've just got it. It would be a coincidence if you had. But if you're into your drinks and your cocktails and mixing, it's worth jumping online and picking yourself up a bottle of this gingerbread syrup. It's just superb. And if you don't use it in your cocktails, you can stick it in your coffees, and it's amazing with that as well. But I would definitely recommend this flavour. It just blends brilliantly. It's like the sort of perfect syrup for people who love whiskey. Cheers again. Okay, so let's get into our second round of questions for our Whiskey Geek of the Week. Remember, I'll ask you these 12 questions. courtesy on the whole of Kaz. When I say on the whole, I just changed a couple of Kaz's questions, and that was mainly because she provided me with some questions that we had already done in previous quizzes, so I just sort of took them out and switched them around. But on the whole, Kaz has given us all of these. Paul was saying, I love gingerbread syrup in coffee. Yeah, so how about gingerbread syrup in coffee with whiskey, maybe some cream on the top? It's just taking the idea of a liqueur coffee, Irish coffee sort of idea to another place. Paul, you've got to be the man to try that out and maybe sort of feedback to the Dream Whiskies community next week or something like that. All right, so next 3 questions on the Whiskey Geek of the week. Here we go. So we've had our anagrams. Question number 4. And it's a simple one, really. And it's this. Well, it's only simple if you know the answer, I guess. But anyway, here we go. What are the ingredients of a rusty nail cocktail? What are the ingredients of a rusty nail cocktail? Now, if you've never heard of it, go out and drink one. Actually, I was going to say, if you've never heard of it, look it up. But I just thought, go out and drink one. Ask for it in a bar. I'll give you a clue. It's 2 ingredients, okay? Rusty nail. What's in a rusty nail? Question 5. I'd like to know, what was the first style of whiskey used in a whiskey sour? So when we say a whiskey sour, what's that? Oh, John. Hello, John. Brilliant to see you. Sorry you're late. I forgive you. I absolutely forgive you. Wow, Paul, I missed you drooling there. I assume you're drooling about the coffee liqueur thing, rather than just drooling for no reason whatsoever. Yeah, there's no being late, actually, John. Just being here is what we want. So, getting back to this question, when we talk about the whiskey sour, if you're in America, people assume you say whiskey sour, they assume you mean bourbon, probably. If you're in Scotland, they assume you mean Scotch whiskey. If you're in Ireland, you know how it goes, right? But actually, the original whiskey sour really is said to have been based on which one? So it's a multiple choice. I'll give you a choice. And what I'd like to know is it A, Scotch? Is it B, rye? Or is it C, bourbon? Okay? So which one was used in the original whiskey sour? Scotch, rye, or bourbon? That was question number 5. What we got there? We've got Love the Banana Rama from my wonderful wife. Good, that's good. Matt is saying, oh, I wonder if that's in the Savoy Cocktail Book. Which one, Matt? Which one do you wonder if it's in the Savoy Cocktail Book? Let me know which one you're thinking of. Cheryl saying, whiskey a bit peaty for me, but I can cope. Yeah, I actually thought it might be slightly peaty for you, but the banana and the ginger tend to soften that off, don't they? Question 6, another multiple choice for you. I'd like to know which of these is the oldest whiskey cocktail. All right, here we go. Is it A, the Manhattan? Is it B, the Sazerac, which of course I made for you a couple of weeks ago? And is it C, the Mint Julep? So is it, which one, oldest cocktail out of the 3 of those? Is it the Manhattan, the Sazerac, or the Mint Julep? Question 6 done. You are halfway on your way to being our Whiskey Geek of the Week for this week. What we do know is that our Whiskey Geek of the Week for this week will not be Kaz Bridges, will not be Michael Nolan, because they are in a temporary enforced retirement, having won it 3 times each. So we will have, probably, maybe, a new Whiskey Geek tonight. All right. So the next cocktail is, the last week I've been sort of thinking back and memories and stuff like that. And this cocktail is something that reminds me a bit of my childhood. So when I was a kid, and I'm talking about the 1970s really, so early 1970s, when I was a kid, I remember my parents, my mum, taking me to a place, and some of you might be old enough to remember this, a place called the Golden Egg. So the Golden Egg, I don't even think it exists. I'm pretty sure it was defunct many, many years ago. Well, there it is. It appeared. That's what happens. If it comes back empty like that, we know the drink is good. So I was taken to this place by my mum. And it was, I guess, of its day, it was the sort of one of the forerunners of that sort of fast food era. And from a UK perspective, we were introduced to an American idea, and we haven't really seen it before. And the American idea was those sort of super thick, triple thick milkshakes. Until then in the UK, if you had a milkshake was the consistency of milk. You know, it was milk with a bit of flavouring in, that was it. But this place, the Golden Egg, when I was a kid, used to do these amazing triple thick milkshakes, which were really thick. You had to suck the straw like you needed an industrial suction pump to get it up the straw. And we hadn't had those before. Plus, we weren't used to the idea of all these incredibly diverse flavours. You know, prior to the early 1970s, if you wanted a milkshake, it would be strawberry, chocolate or banana. But they had all sorts of flavours, and my favourite one was a triple thick mint choc chip milkshake. Okay? So I decided to be inspired by that memory this week. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make my alcoholic whiskey-based version of that triple thick mint choc chip milkshake. And this is how we're going to do it. So I'm going to put it into, this is a sling glass. It's funny actually that this is a sling glass, because if you go to Raffles Hotel in Singapore and ask for a Singapore sling, they put it in that. So they put it in this, but this style is known as a sling. Anyway, let's pop that back up there, and here we go. So first things first, we know what our cocktail is based on because it's a whiskey-based cocktail. Our triple thick mint choc chip. Let's just shake that out. So we're going to start with our whiskey. And this one's going to have a bit more of a kick than the first one. Well, I'm just looking at the gift that my wife has put up of, it's not one of our dogs, but that could easily be any one of our dogs. Some of you have met Alfie, of course, as well. So I'm putting in 40 ml of our whiskey. That's going to be the base to our triple thick mint choc chip alcoholic version of our drink. Then we are going to add the peppermint. So obviously I'm going to go to some green creme de menthe. And I want the peppermint to come through this. So I'm bringing this up to 25 ml. And at the moment it's looking, well, for many people that colour is far from appetizing, but it's going to take us to where we need to be. Next thing that I want in there is some white creme de cacao. Now, at the moment, we're not too far off the whole idea of a grasshopper, but we're going to transform it in a second. 25 ml, again. There we are. And that's a little bit of the chocolate flavour that we're looking for. So we've got our creme de menthe, our white creme de cacao. We've got our whiskey in there. By the way, you know I've used the Curiositas, obviously. But you can choose what you want, as is the case with the majority of whiskey cocktails that we make here. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add some milk. This is, after all, a milkshake. And I'm going to put in, I'll just bring that up short. So that's 40, and then I'm actually going to put in another 20 as well. That's good. Now I want a bit more sweetness and some chocolate. So I'm going to add, this is some chocolate syrup, just showing you what we got there. There we go, some chocolate syrup. There we go. So we've got some chocolate syrup in there. And then the final thing that is going to make this work perfectly for us is this. And in here I have a scoop of vanilla ice cream. So I'm just going to break that up a little bit. Now it's actually sort of melted slightly, so it's sort of softened up. Just going to pop that in there like so. Let's do that. That's good. Put that to the side. And then we're going to take a little bit of ice, as we do whenever we shake. Drop that in there. Let's get this into our shaker. And then we're going to shake everything up together. So Cheryl's saying mouthwash. I'm telling you this is a recreation of my youth, plus the alcohol, of course. And here we go. Looking good. Mixing up the ice cream that's in there, the milk, all the wonderful flavours. I'm actually also making this because I know that somebody from off screen will not be stealing this, which means that I'm in a better position to drink this. There we go. And let's strain this into our sling glass. Let's bring it up to the top. There we go. That's good. All right. Looking good. Now I have to say, this is nowhere near as thick as those triple thick milkshakes that were, I don't know, delivered to us when I was a sort of 7, 8-year-old. I mean, honestly, I used to walk home with jaw ache. It was a real sort of arduous task to get through the cocktail. Final thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to take in here. What I've got is a broken up a ripple, so a little bit of chocolate, but I'm not sure what it's called in the US. In fact, I don't even know if you have the same thing over there, but it's just a sort of bit of layered rippled chocolate. So I've broken some of that up, and I'm just going to drop some of that on the surface. There we go. That's good. Actually, I'll put a little bit more in. I'm not sure if you can see from where you are. If I bring that to the camera and tip it forwards, you might have a little bit of a better idea. But there you go. And that is my sort of memory of my triple thick triple choc chip milkshake. I can't even remember what it was called now. Just going to put my glass straw in there. Let's have a little taste. Oh, honestly, it's gorgeous. It takes me right back. And the thing that I have to say is, there is a fair amount of alcohol in this drink, but it just doesn't taste like it at all. You know, you could, I'm not saying you do this, but you could feed this to kids, they'd have no idea that they were drinking alcohol. I mean, they would sleep brilliantly, and by the way, you know, you'd be arrested for child abuse and all that sort of thing, but they would never know because it's just so beautifully balanced.
You forgot about me.
You're taking that. So I just didn't think that Cheryl would take that, but Cheryl's not the only person here. So somebody else has taken that, which is slightly disappointing, really. Okay. So Gary's saying looks good to him, and Gary, it looks good to me. Or it looked good to me before it was stolen from me. Wow. Okay, you know, nothing sacred around here, that's for sure. All right, so that's cocktail number 2 down. It's time for us to move into the third part of our Whiskey Geek of the Week competition. Just to say, oh, Bruce is here, late, working. Bruce, you've got to give up that work. I mean, you've got the look of a man who's retired, really. You look sort of affluent and relaxed and all the rest of it. It's coming back. It's coming back. There we go. Produce the perfect cocktail that no one will steal, at least in my house. Okay, Kaz, really like the sound of this one. This one, cool. Everyone's saying hi to Bruce. It's not the same, is it, without Bruce? Really, I'm going to carry on drinking this because the female members of this household don't like it, which is a good thing. All right, before we move on, or rather before we move on to the next stage of our Whiskey Geek of the Week bit, just let me remind you, the next cocktail we've got coming up is our Mix With Me cocktail. And this is what you will need for it. So you will need whiskey, you will need some triple sec. So triple sec is like Cointreau or Curacao, that sort of thing. So you need some triple sec. You'll need some syrup. I'm using vanilla flavored syrup, so better if you can go for the vanilla. And then you need some passion fruit, that's fresh passion fruit, and a lime. Now, if you don't have fresh passion fruit and you want to use some passion liqueur because you have it or you used it for a previous cocktail, that's absolutely fine. But hey, what's this, Bruce? What are you saying? It's not the same without any of our fine members. As in, it's not the same without any of you. Yeah, no, I absolutely agree. Whenever, you know, one of you sort of key kingpins not there, it's like a big hole, really, in the sort of, I don't know, I was going to say in the comment section, but really in the whole experience of this evening. Okay, let me open this up again, and we are going to go into the third round of our Whiskey Geek of the Week competition. Now, ordinarily, Cheryl will put the questions up, but she didn't get to see them, so she's not able, I think, she's not able to pull them up. But she might put them up for you. I'm just thinking about Bruce, if you want to play catch up on this. But anyway, here we go. So we're into question 7, and I want to know this. In a bourbon warehouse, what are the upper rows of barrels called? So those rows of barrels that are right up towards the top of a bourbon warehouse, what are they called? There's a very specific name for those. What's this Cheryl saying? I don't like anything chocolate mint flavoured. Which I think we know, because when I did the grasshopper thing some weeks ago, that just got sort of returned with short shrift as well. All right, so that was question 7. So what is that? The upper rows of barrels in a bourbon warehouse, what are they called? Again, talking about warehouses and bourbon barrels, I'd like to know, what is another name for the warehouse that is used to store aging bourbon barrels? So, in Scotland, we always call it a warehouse, I guess. But in the United States, when we're talking about bourbon, what do you call the warehouse? There's another name for it. 1 point for each of these, by the way. Where are we now? Any more comments? No, you're not talking to me. I mean, that's what happens, isn't it? You get drunk and the conversation stops as the brain slows down, which is pretty much what happens to me through the broadcast, actually, I suppose. Question 9. Legally, again, we're talking about bourbon. Legally, which grain must be at least 51% of the mash used to make bourbon? In other words, for those of you that, I'm pretty sure everyone knows this, but for those of you who don't know, that before they distill and create the spirit, they produce a liquid called a mash. It's in a sense, it's a bit like a beer, I suppose, and that has to be made up of liquid from a variety of grains. So with bourbon, for it to legally be called bourbon, at least 51% of it has to be what grain? And I'm going to give you a choice, okay? So is it 51% of it has to be rye, B has to be wheat, or C has to be corn? So what is it? Cheryl's putting up the questions, by the way, I think. So she's obviously pulled them off of another device. But so Bruce, or anyone else who's turned up late and didn't take part in the first part of Whiskey Geek of the Week, Cheryl's putting up the questions for you so you can catch up with us, that's for sure. All right, so just to repeat, question 7, what are the upper rows of barrels in a bourbon warehouse called? Question 8, what is another name for a warehouse that is used to store bourbon barrels? And C, legally, which grain must be at least 51% of the mash that is used to make bourbon? All right, good. Cheers. My excuse, just memories. This is all about memories. Very nice indeed. All right. So we are now approaching that time of the evening where we are doing the Mix With Me. Now, is anyone out there joining me? Anyone? Let me know in the comments if you are. But if you're not, I'm going to tell you that the reason why I'm doing this sort of passion fruit thing is that, as many of you know, I've been filming some online cocktail courses. Obviously, the whiskey course is the one that the members can do, and if you want to be an affiliate, you can get involved in helping to spread the word about that and earn some money off the back of it as well. But I'm actually right now in the middle of doing a vodka course, and it's in that vodka course, one of the cocktails is the Porn Star Martini. Now, many of you will have heard and certainly have drunk a Porn Star Martini. Some of you might not have ever heard of that, but it is a, what's that, Cat? Lacking in ingredients this week. Okay, sorry, Cat, but you can always pick it up a bit later, can't you? Many of you will have drunk this. It is a worldwide phenomenon. It's amazing how it took off. It was actually invented by an old colleague of mine, and I haven't seen him for a number of years, but used to know him pretty well back in the day. And his name is Douglas Ankara, and he came up with this idea for the sort of passion fruit drink that is now this Porn Star Martini. And so because I've been thinking about it and putting it in the vodka course that I'm doing, it just made me think that maybe we can do something. So we're doing what I'm calling a passion car sour. So it's a cross between the idea of a Porn Star Martini, a whiskey sour, and a sidecar all mixed up together. So I'm calling it a passion car sour. What else have we got going on here? Matt definitely wants to have a go of the mint chocolate. Yeah, listen, if you like that sort of chocolate mint thing, Matt, you honestly, you are going to absolutely love this. Bruce, if Cheryl can't access them, she can't edit them. Yes, exactly. Thank goodness. She's given me a break this week, I think. And Gary, yes, I'm going to give it a go. Brilliant, Gary. Let me know how you get on. Remember, the deal is, any of you who have a go at this, take a photograph and send it in to me. Kieran, what are you saying? Going to make it next week? Don't have the ingredients? Okay, not a problem. I guess by next week you'll also have a new cocktail kit as well, Kieran, so you can use that. Question 9, legally. All right, so good. All the 9 questions that I've shared with you so far are up there if you want to catch up with us. And here we go, here it is. So I'm going to use this 3-piece shaker. I think I've used it with you guys before, but I sort of kind of like it. It's in a way, in the US or in the UK, a 3-piece shaker is considered a domestic shaker. Yeah, I've definitely done this with you before because I just remember telling you this little bit. But in Japan, nobody uses that 2-piece Boston shaker. All of their finest bartenders use these 3-piece shakers. And I kind of like them. I like this one as well. So I thought we'd make this drink, or I'm going to make this drink anyway, with you in this shaker. So let me just put those to the side. This is going to go in a sort of rocks old-fashioned style glass, something like this. So I'll put that to the side as well. And then we're going to start by adding our ingredients. Now the first thing that I want to do is I want to get some of the flesh from these. And these rather gnarly, slightly dried looking fruit are passion fruit. I'm going to cut them in half and we're going to take the seeds out from inside. So let me get my chopping board up onto the bar, like so. Got my first one, so let's cut that in half. They're sort of kind of leathery. You need a really sharp knife. I mean, this is a sharp knife, but hey. And when you cut them open, this is what they look like. There we go. And let's take another one. Sometimes, like these, they, they're mostly air inside, and these are really mostly air. So lots of space for the seeds, but it's the seeds that we want. So I've just cut those open. Let's bring those out of the way, and then what I'm going to do is take my spoon and I'm going to take the juice and the seeds from 3 of the halves. So that's what I want you to do, 3 of the halves. What is my wife feeling sorry for? Oh, I see. She's feeling sorry for giving me such a hard time. So she's giving me a break. Yeah, but actually, Cheryl's going to be on with me next week. So she's going to be my guest next week. So I guess I'm going to pay for her giving me a break this week. She's going to get her revenge. So here we go. 3 halves. And I'm going to save the final half for garnish. So I'd like you to do the same now. If you've only got 1 of the fruit, then don't worry about saving it for garnish. Just put the whole lot into your shaker. But if you've got 2, then do this. Okay, so we've got our passion fruit in there. Next thing that I want to do is I want to take a lime and I want to put the juice of this lime into our shaker. So let's cut that in half, like so. Get my squeezer. Again, I don't know how many of you guys have things like this. I mean, when I was working in a bar, that's the only place I ever saw them, but now loads of people have got these at home. What is this? Bruce, I got the stuff for it. Then my work hours got shifted. We'll make it later. Okay, again, Bruce, same thing. When you make it, let me know. Send me a picture. By the way, those of you that have sent in pictures and haven't seen them up on Facebook, that's because I'm sort of creating a gallery. So bear with me. None of your pictures are being ignored, and everything will be up in our gallery. So please keep sending them to me. Love the pictures. So there we go. Juice of this whole lime. This is actually quite a large lime, so I'm getting a good, decent amount of juice from that. Okie dokie. There we go. Just pop that to the side. Right, so the next thing is our Cointreau Triple Sec Orange Curacao. So I'm using, where is it? I'm using this, Triple Sec. You can use things like Grand Marnier. You can use things like Cointreau. You can use things like this one here, which is Orange Curacao. You can actually, for flavour, if you want, because the flavour is the same, you can use some blue Curacao as well. But it just doesn't look very nice. So try not to use the blue Curacao. Anyway, Triple Sec. Where did I put my measure? Oh, here it is. Triple Sec. I was just checking that I washed that out. And I'm putting in 25, so a UK shot, 25ml of our Triple Sec. That's good. Let's pop that to the side. Then, of course, we want our whiskey. And as far as whiskey is concerned, I want a 2-to-1 ratio to the triple sec, so I'm going to be putting in 50 ml of our whiskey. So it's very much in the style of a traditional sour, but with these other elements in there, it's pulling in ideas from other cocktails, like I say, from the Porn Star Martini, and also from my favourite bourbon, my favourite cognac cocktail, which of course is the Sidecar, hence the name as well. Right, okay. So we've got our whiskey, we've got our passion fruit, we've got our lime in there, and the last thing that we need, of course, is our syrup. Now, if you're using sugar syrup, that's fine. If you want to bring the vanilla in, but you don't have vanilla syrup, you could always put in some vanilla essence or anything like that is absolutely fine. But I'm using a vanilla syrup here. So, and again, you can buy these in the same places you can buy everything else. If you're into your coffee, by the way, you've probably got some of these things. What we got here, same as that, Bruce. Got to earn money to buy whiskey. Okay, well, yeah, definitely. And I'm shaking this up with 10 ml of our vanilla syrup. Actually, I probably put slightly more again, but 10 ml was the intention. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some rocks and I'm going to put new rocks in here. So let's just get this iced up, and I'm going to just get that to there. That's good. And then I'm going to add some ice to this, so we can give it a good shake. And then, when I used to use these 3-piece shakers, I just used to take the top and the bottom and put it on top. But what I've noticed from my Japanese colleagues and friends over the years is that they do it in 3 parts. So they get that on first, and then they seal it with that and close it up. I'm not entirely sure why. I never actually had that conversation, but I just love the look of it and certainly the ritual as well. And here we go. Let's give this a good shake. All right, good. So I'm now going to take the cap off, which already leaves a strainer in there. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to strain it into this glass. If you're doing this at home and you've got a tea strainer or a fine strainer like this, it helps to pull out the little seeds from the passion fruit. But if you haven't, don't worry about it. It doesn't matter. Just pop it in the glass. It's all fine. And here we go. So let's... There we are. Tap that through. Good. Okay. Let's pop that over here. So here's our drink. Here is our Passion Car Sour. Now, there's a variety of ways that you can garnish this. I'm actually going to garnish it, again, taking my cue from the Porn Star Martini. I'm just going to take the remaining half of this passion fruit, and I'm actually just going to sit it in the top of the glass like so. And actually, if I was serving this in a bar, or for that matter, if I was serving it to some friends, I would probably give them a tiny little teaspoon so they could scoop out the seeds in the top of the passion fruit and, you know, just sort of take that and then have a little slug of the drink. But the other thing you can do is, instead of putting the whole shell in there, is you can then scoop out the final seeds and just drizzle them on the surface of the ice that's sort of sticking out the top, and that works beautifully as well. But there you go, that is our Passion Car Sour. What we got going on here? Oh, we've got people chatting, loving this. Okay, the ones I got are full red inside, different variety, I guess. Put some on ice cream last night, it was quite good. You're talking about the passion fruit? I think so. Pretty colour. Cherry, that wife of yours is a kleptomaniac. That's from John, who would know. Jane is, sorry we're late. Well, doesn't matter, you're here, that's good, that's all good. A little bit of banter now I can see between father and daughter. I take after my father, says Cheryl, who had just been accused by her father of being a kleptomaniac. Okay, so someone's come in, vulture style, hovering just outside of the camera, trying to get their hands on this, but before they do... Did you hear that request, by the way? Did you hear what she said? We need a cherry, right? Not enough to just steal the drink, but also we need a cherry. Hold on a second. This is the problem. So who's here? Here. If you watched my, about 2 months ago, we did a charity event here on this bar where I made 26 cocktails in 26 minutes for Parkinson's UK charity, which was sort of mayhem and all over the place. And standing just there was Jessica, who was helping me by trying to clean stuff up, and we were bumping into each other. That's who's standing just off a shot right now, asking for a cherry in this cocktail. There's her hand, just to prove it. There's the cherry. And there it goes. Thank you, Jessica. All right, so how did you do? Did you manage to knock that out? Gary, you said you were going to have a little go. Have you managed to do that? Laura's saying looks amazing. Well, Laura, you're also getting a cocktail kit, aren't you? So if you don't already have one, hopefully you'll use it to make some cocktails. Jane is saying hi, Jess, to Jess, who's gone because she's now stolen the last of my cocktails. Still got this one, though, on the go. Very pleased that I've got something remaining. So, like I say, let me know. If you've made that now, please send me a photograph. If you make it at any time over the next week, actually, if you make it at any time, whenever you make it, please take a shot. Send it through to me or message it. I will put it into our gallery when I get that gallery up, and everyone's photograph is going to be in there. The more cocktails that are there, the better, you know, really, honestly. Okay, we're into our last 3 questions of our Whiskey Geek of the Week competition. And here we go. So who is going to be the Whiskey Geek this week? Remember, before we are done tonight, I've got to show you what this week's spot prize is for our members as well. And I'm going to do a sort of recap on the opportunities that are there for everyone, whether you're a member or not, to become a Dream Whiskies affiliate also. But question 10, who do we go? Oh, hold on a second. You know what? I'm just going to have a drop more whiskey rather. I mean, I do like that, but I do like this as well. So let's just put a little bit more of that in there. That's good. Question 10, everybody. Question 10. What's that you're saying, Laura? We'll do. We'll send picture evidence. Thank you. That's what we want. Gary, what's going on? I have to say mine's definitely not that colour. Okay. Gary, didn't you say you were using a Pessoa? Is that right? Which will make yours sort of pinky, I would have thought. And sweeter than mine as well. Because the Pessoa is pretty sweet, whereas obviously passion fruit is quite tart and sour. I think you said that to me. I think you sent me a message about that earlier on. Question 10. Here we go. Which distillery makes a 21-year-old whiskey called Parliament? So which distillery makes a 21-year-old whiskey called Parliament? Interesting. Got to be honest, when that came in, didn't know that one. And then when I saw the answer, I thought, should have known that one. When I say that came in, it's because for those of you that joined us late, tonight's questions have come from last time's Whiskey Geek of the Week winner, Kaz Bridges. Kaz, you pleased with how this is going? Difficult enough for people? Okay, the word whiskey, sorry, this is question 11. The word whiskey comes from the Gaelic words ushgabar, or actually I've heard it pronounced 2 ways, right? Either ushgabar or ushgabaya, okay? But what does that mean? Okay, so the word whiskey comes from the Gaelic words ushgabar. What does that mean? I think everybody knows that. By the way, if you don't know how it's spelt, maybe you haven't heard it pronounced, but if you don't know how it's spelled, it's U-I-S-G-E, ushga, and then bar, or bear, is B-E-A-T-H-A. So, what does that mean? There we go. And Cheryl's popped the question up for you as well. And question 12. Which distillery is the smallest traditional distillery in the whole of Scotland? Gary's saying yes, that's it. Okay, so you got the Pessoa there. So that'll work brilliantly anyway, Gary. It'd just be slightly different to mine. Yours would probably be sweeter, I would have thought, and of course different colour as you mentioned. And don't forget to send me the picture as well. Yeah. So which distillery is the smallest traditional distillery in Scotland? All right. So you got a few minutes to just get your answers together before I actually go through the answers with you. There's 12 points up for grabs this evening. Every one of the questions is worth a single point. If you are the outright highest scorer, you will be our Whiskey Geek of the Week for this week. If you are equal with someone else, then we have a tie break question in play. So just while I'm giving you a chance to maybe get your head around the last few questions, just to remind you that we also have our weekly spot prize giveaway, which is for members. I mean, members get a whole lot, right? For your £4.99 a month, right? You're in a whiskey competition every week with a chance of winning that. You've got your spot prize competition every week. You've got your discount code. You now get a £60 online whiskey cocktail course. Wow, I couldn't give you more. You're going to give us your £5 and become an actual member of Dream Whiskies? You know how to do it. There's a link in the description. Click it and sign up. If not, we still love you. That's fine. Okay, so this week's spot prize giveaway for our members is this little set. We've actually given this one away before, but pretty popular actually. So it is a set of 3 50ml miniatures of Talisker. You get a bottle of Talisker 10-year-old, a bottle of Talisker Sky, and a bottle of Talisker Storm in there. A great little prize, and that's what's going to go to the winner of our spot prize giveaway, which you can find the questions as ever in the members section on the Dream Whiskies website. The link is in the description, and the questions are all related to tonight's cocktail. So for example, I will be asking you what restaurant I was taken to as a child. Remember I referenced that. What is the name of the second cocktail from this evening's broadcast? What was the Mix With Me cocktail called, and which juice did I not use this evening? They're all multiple choice. You know how it works. If you're members, you're familiar with how it works, and one of you will win that tasting set. Okay, so let's go back to the beginning. We are now going to thank you, Barry. Excellent spot prize. I appreciate that. Talisker Manna from Heaven. Thank you, Paul. Oh, the last question is a bit sneaky. The one that I didn't. Do you mean which one do you mean? Do you mean of the Whiskey Geek, Michael, or do you mean of the spot prize giveaway? If it's the spot prize giveaway, it's okay because I give you multiple choice, so you're good there. If it's the other one, then you have to direct that to Kaz, I think. Carl, right, Carl. I'm not sure what that means. Is that in relation to a drink, or I'm not sure what that is. Or the liquid equivalent. Okay, I see what you mean. We're all talking about Talisker now. I got that. All right, let's find out which one. Remember, a point for each correct answer. Here we go. So we started with our anagrams from Kaz. The first one was Brink Pangs. Brink Pangs. You should be looking for Springbank. Springbank. Well done with that. If you got that. 1 point if you got it right. Okay. The next one, I'm expecting most of you have got it right. David, what are you saying there? Oh, Kansas. Okay, gotcha, yeah. David, was the question regarding the name of the second cocktail set before the change? Was the question regarding the name of the second cocktail? Oh, set before the change. What was that regarding the name of the second cocktail? I gotcha. Very yes. Thank you very much, David. You're absolutely right. For a second there, I wasn't entirely sure what you mean, but I switched them around, didn't I? So yes, it was, which means that actually you need to think of the first one. So okay. I will go back into those questions as soon as the broadcast is finished and change that around. David, thank you for that. Completely went over my head. Carl, yeah, got that, Carl, the Talisker. All right, where was I? Question one, right? Question one, we got that. Second one was Dower Reed. Dower Reed. Question two was Edra Dower. Edra Dower. Question three was Chalice Air Gel. Chalice Air Gel. And that was Craigalachy. Craigalachy. So those are our three anagrams. It's 1 point for each if you got that. Yeah, okay. Yeah, David, cool. Swap the order of the cocktails. Absolutely. I will sort that out. Question four. I said, what are the ingredients of a rusty nail? So I'm assuming every one of you has either heard of it or drunk it. And if you haven't and you're whiskey lovers, then get out there, go into a bar and ask for a rusty nail. It is a simple, combination of Scotch whiskey and Drambuie. Okay, Scotch whiskey and Drambuie. Rusty nail. Good job. 1 point for that if you got it. Question 5. I said, what was the first style of whiskey used in a whiskey sour? So the original whiskey sour, was it A, Scotch? Was it B, rye? Was it C, bourbon? The answer is bourbon. Bourbon was first used in a whiskey sour. You go to Scotland and ask for a whiskey sour, you're going to get Scotch whiskey because that's how we think of it in the UK. But actually, the bourbon whiskey sour was the first one on the list. And question 6. Actually, this has been set by. It was set by Kaz. This one. I changed it a little bit, and there's a reason why I changed it, and that is this. Which of these is the oldest whiskey cocktail? And I gave you A, Manhattan, B, Sazerac, and C, Mint Julep. Now, the Sazerac is known as the oldest whiskey cocktail, but it's not. So actually, the Mint Julep predates it. The Mint Julep is in all sorts of texts from the mid-18th century, whereas the Sazerac doesn't really appear, the Sazerac doesn't really appear until the 19th century. So the Sazerac starts to appear in the 1800s. We're already talking about the Mint Julep in the 1700s. So the answer is the Mint Julep. So that's the one that I sort of changed a little bit. But the Sazerac is, for whatever reason, is known as the oldest one. I think it has a lot to do with the fact that the Sazerac was originally a brandy cocktail before it became a whiskey cocktail. And I think that's what it's about. Okay, again, a point if you got that right. Question 7. What are the highest rows of barrels in a bourbon warehouse called? I'm looking for the crow's nest. So the ones at the top are all in the crow's nest. They're called the crow's nest. Got that? You got a point. Question 8. What is another name for a warehouse used to store aging bourbon? And I'm looking for either a rack house or I'll accept a rick house. So a rick house or a rack house. Point if you got that. Question 9. Legally, which grain must account for at least 51% of the liquid, the mash, used to make bourbon? Was it A, rye, B, wheat, C, corn? It's corn. Okay, it's C, corn. Hello, I'm late a bit, Liqueur. Just a bit. Just an hour and 2 minutes late, but we're always delighted to see you, Liqueur. I'm glad you can make it towards the end. Thank you for joining us. If you get some time and you're still looking for something to do, maybe you can replay. That would be great. Question 10. Who's doing well, by the way? And if you've got all 9, I'd be amazed if you've got all 9, especially as we got rid of Michael and Kaz, who keep getting the highest scores. We're going to bring them back in, by the way, at some point in the future. I don't want to annex them for good. Question 10. Which distillery makes a 21-year-old whiskey called Parliament? And it's these guys. Glendronach. They make Parliament. And I didn't know that, but now I do. But I felt like I should. See, Cheryl, no sabotage required on your part this time. Okay. Question 11. The word whiskey comes from the Gaelic words ushgabea. What does it mean? It means water of life. Water of life. Ushka means water. And ba or bea means life. So water of life. And question 12. Which distillery, and I think it's the one that Michael said is a bit sneaky, which distillery is the smallest traditional distillery in Scotland? And I think traditional is key here, actually. But which whiskey is the smallest traditional distillery in Scotland? Well, we have Edgeworth. So it's the second time we've had that up tonight. It was also in our anagrams, but a point if you have Edgeworth. I'm still doing it, just not actively competing, says Michael. All right. So, Michael, be honest with us with your score. Let us know how you're doing. So that is 12 questions. I would like you please total up your score. Pop your score in the comments box. And if you have the highest score, you will be our Whiskey Geek of the Week for this week. And if you haven't been our Whiskey Geek of the Week before, what you have to do is send me a picture of yourself as soon as you can after this broadcast, a picture of yourself with a bottle of whiskey or a glass of whiskey. I will put that in a frame. It will go up on our Facebook page. It will go in our Whiskey Geek of the Week winners gallery on our website as well. All a bit of fun, but we love to have you guys up there. And you know, if we love whiskey, why not be properly recognised for our geekiness about it? All right, so give me your scores. Give me your scores. How you doing? How you playing? All right. What else have I got for you? So just to remind you, if you're a member, you haven't already signed up, pop over to the website. Get your free access to our Whiskey Cocktail online course. It's a £60 course to enroll on. People are paying £60 to enroll on that. If you're a member, you get it for free. So go over there. And if any of you, member or not, want to be a Dream Whiskies affiliate, which means that if you recommend our course, then what happens is if anyone that you recommend it to buys it, we will split that £60 with you. So for every single person, we will give you £30 that you recommend. So if you recommend 2 people, we give you £60. If you recommend 100,000 people, we will give you £3 million. You know, how generous can we be, right? So that's how it works. But you can sign up on the website. It's everything there in the description. Just click on the links and go there. So I'm not getting any comments through. I'm wondering if my comments have stuck, but looking for your scores. How have you done, Whiskey Geeks? Who is our Whiskey Geek this week? Just pop up your scores. Nothing coming through. So I'm going to have another little drink before I wait for those and declare who the winner is. Just to let you know that the whole thing on the Dream Whiskey site is continuing to evolve. Is continuing to get sort of bigger. Our members are getting more and more stuff filtered through to them. And we're giving away those fabulous whiskies every week as well. I have to say that still for us, membership is low, which means that your chances of winning any one of our weekly competitions is really quite decent indeed. I mean, especially considering that before we went to membership only, you know, we had 300,000 people playing, you know, and I can tell you it is very, very low compared to that. So the amount of people actually became our members became really quite low indeed. So join us now. There's so much that you're getting, including the courses, including all the other free stuff and the opportunities to win that. Do you want me? Mac Norfolk. Well, it's not coming up here. Right, so I've just had a briefing from inside. So your comments are not coming up on my screen. But Matt got 11 out of 12. Did anyone else get 12 out of 12? Did anyone beat Matt? It's slightly frustrating that this thing isn't working, but I'm on a new interface with Facebook that they insist on forcing down our throat for some reason, and it doesn't work as well as the old interface, unfortunately. But yeah, still got nothing coming through. Right, I'm going to make a call on this. I'm pretty sure you've all put in your scores. It looks like Cheryl has picked up the scores as well. And so we're going to declare you, Matt Norfolk. Congratulations. You are our Whiskey Geek of the Week for this week. And you know what to do. Get a picture of yourself, please, with a bottle of whiskey or a glass of whiskey. Please get it over. Send it to me on Messenger on Facebook. As soon as you can after this broadcast, and I will get you up on our gallery this evening. Hope you have all enjoyed it. I just want to say this. Thank you for being there. Sorry about last week. It's actually been a great night for me, I have to say, to be doing all of this with you again, and we'll just sort of keep it going as we have been. It's only going to be sort of really sort of unusual things that are going to stop us doing it. So I'd like to say thank you for being there. Thank you for playing. Matt, you are our Whiskey Geek of the Week. Next week we'll have more cocktails, more prize giveaways. I'll be in touch with all the prize winners pretty much first thing tomorrow morning. So if you are on here, you'll hear from me. If you don't already know that you're winners, then that's going to be a surprise for those guys as well. I just want to say this was dedicated to my mum. And I would like to wish you all a fabulous week, and I will see you all same time, same place next week. Keep safe. Bye now.